Hi, Joe.
Hey, good evening, Alan. Carmel Planning and Zoning, this is Joe. Where's TV calling me about the goat?
They didn't get the message.
No, they knew it was tabled, but they're like, we want to know why it's tabled. I'm like, no, sorry, not telling you. You need to talk to our, we have a department that deals with the media, like Nancy Heck or Dan McFeely. But the letters are
That's
still
smart.
coming. Yeah, the letters are still coming in. A lot of people still think it's tonight. Good evening, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Okay, looks like we're just waiting on Angie, and I
Okay.
will then let the first person in.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, is everybody working from home or off-site?
Yeah, the majority are working from home. We will have one or two people in the office all time. So Mike's usually there. Mike is usually there, and then either Lisa, Nathan, or I will be there to answer calls, accept packages, mail, such forth.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I left a message for Rachel early this morning. I never heard back from her. I
Okay.
didn't know if she's out of town or she
Yeah, I don't know if
taking
she was
calls.
I'll let her know that you called. But yeah, I don't know if if she was working today or if she was off today. Kind of hard to keep track of everyone.
Also, is this live on YouTube now?
Yes, we are live. Okay, I'll let the first petitioner in. And where is Andy? Good evening. Okay, I'm letting Angie in now, and then we'll be ready to go.
Hi, Angie.
Hello, Angie.
Hello.
Hi, Angie.
Hi.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Very good. This is a Carmel Board of Zoning Appeals hearing officer meeting for Monday, January 25th, 2021. This meeting's called to order. The first item on our agenda tonight is post-residence setback variance, docket number PZ-2020-00213V, UDO section 2.06, minimum 10-foot wide side yard building, setback required, crossing 40 feet over side property line requested. The site's located at 1752 and 1730 East 106th Street, partially in Miller's Acres subdivision. It's zoned S2/residence and partially located in the special flood hazard area, filed by David and Lisa Post owners. Who will be representing the Post?
I will, Lisa Post.
Okay, Lisa, would you please just introduce yourself and let us know what part of Carmel you reside, and then you can begin.
Okay, I'm Lisa Post. My husband and I live in the very northeast side of Carmel right now, but own this property and would like to build a house there.
Okay. Would you care to describe your presentation?
We own all 4 acres that's shown here, and we would like to tear down 3 existing rental homes that are highlighted in that yellow square there. And we would like to place a new house set back, and it will be the address of 1732, but approximately where that drawing shows.
Okay.
At which time it will cross a little bit of the property line that also we own. We're trying to get the best site on the lot of that whole 4 acres of where we can place our home, for privacy and the woods. And it's just, we love the land back there.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I just would like permission to cross the line a little bit onto our own property.
Okay.
All of that is ours.
Okay, very good. This is a public hearing, but we're really not taking any live testimony. However, were there any, Mr. Secretary, any letters of remonstrance filed on this petition?
Thank you, Mr. Hearing Officer. For the record, Joe Shestak, BZA Secretary. We received 0 written comments for this petition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Angie, your staff report, please.
Sure. Thank you. So the zoning ordinance requires a minimum building setback of 10 feet from the side property lines, and the petitioner requests to cross that over by 40 feet. And they're going the variance route rather than a replat route, because they'll get to the same endpoint, weighing out the options, but they wanted to go the variance route and have the public hearing just in case any neighbors had any concerns. But as you saw tonight, that we received no remonstrance. And so we do recommend approval of this variance with 2 conditions. One is the dedication of street right-of-way along 106th Street, as well as the contributing money to the thoroughfare fund for what it would cost to install the multi-use path.
Okay. At this point in time, I'll close the public hearing. Paul, I have a question. When something like this occurs, even though they don't want to replat this, would the plats have to be vacated first?
That there would be a two-step process. They would vacate the existing and then put together, it would be as Ms. Post described it, it would be essentially a one-lot subdivision. So what they're doing is in lieu of going through that step, which it would involve obviously a surveyor and setting forth that, they've elected to go across the property line, but they own the property.
Right. So it wouldn't have to, those two lots wouldn't have to disappear
No.
into one lot. Okay, that's all right. Ms. Post, I see no reason why this shouldn't be approved. So we'll approve this
Thank you.
this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody's help.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Joe, I don't know what steps you want to take now that we're virtually meeting with regards to my decision, but
Yeah, I will email you the proper documentation.
okay.
And Ms. Post, I will email your letter of grant to your inbox tomorrow.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda would be.
Could you wait 1 second?
Yeah, sure. I forgot. You got to let people in.
So, okay. I'm sorry, it was good to get on here, but no.
And we'll make sure that those conditions are included, Joe, in the decision by Alan.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Okay, I'm gonna allow Justin in. I think it's just Justin. Good evening.
Good evening,
Thanks,
friends.
Justin.
Is it just you, Justin, or does anyone else need to join?
You're stuck with just me.
Okay, we're ready to go then.
Great.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is lapel home variances. The applicant seeks the following development standards variance approvals. Docket number PZ 2020-00217V, UDO section 3.64.C.3, maximum 45% lot cover allowed, 49% proposed. And docket number PZ 2020-00218V, UDO section 5.78.J, window wells cannot project more than 24 inches into the required yard, 46-inch projection proposed. The site's located at 130 First Avenue Northwest and is zoned R4/residence, an Old Town Overlay Character Subarea, filed by John Hefton of Old Town Design Group, representing Old Town tonight. Justin, you care to proceed? You can proceed now.
Thank you. Yeah, this is deja vu all over again for planning staff. This is probably the, I don't know, 4th or 5th time we've had this request in the last 3 months. So appreciate your patience with us. I know Angie has access to the files here, but property's traditional single family lot in downtown Carmel, served by an alley to the immediate west. So the existing house there has a curb cut on First Avenue. We will be vacating that and servicing the garage from the alley to the west behind the home. Really, probably what's most relevant is, and we'll start to see it here. It's kind of hard to make out on this slide, but there's a footprint of the house. To the left of the screen is the new proposed driveway and the existing alley there that we'll access. So you'll see on the right side, there's a note there that says existing drive onto First Avenue. I think that's the overall preference of the design intent of downtown Carmel, is that we eliminate as many curb cuts as we can on the drive and use the alleys where possible. This property is actually in the middle of a replat. It's currently not, we're widening it. We own the properties on either side of it. So we are bearing any negative impact created or perceived negative impact created by these requests because we own both properties to the north and to the south of this. So replatting this lot and grabbing a little land from the property to the north to make this lot what we would consider a conforming 50-foot lot. So it's a buildable lot. And if you slide down, I think it's slide 11, Angie, that might be the most relevant here for this conversation. We have this request for the window wells. And I'll cover really quickly the lot coverage. I've described this many times for the Board of Zoning Appeals. There's some ordinance language that hasn't caught up with reality here in downtown Carmel, and that we've changed the definitions in our ordinances to now include all impervious surface driveways, covered porches, sidewalks in our lot coverage, but we've not adjusted any of the lot coverage discussion in downtown Carmel. Using this specific property as an example, this one's actually more unique than a lot of the requests we bring forward. This property is zoned to allow for a duplex if we were to desire to build one here. And that allows for 70% lot coverage when you look at different uses. But in this circumstance, single family 45% is the max allowed, with all those impervious surfaces, including the driveway and sidewalks, et cetera, work 49%. So slightly over, requesting a variance on that item. I will note the unique alley that was constructed by the city of Carmel that this property connects to has impervious pavers, impervious pavers with a detention system built underneath it. Of course, to have the privilege of connecting to right-of-way, we get to pay into, and when we increase our lot coverage, we pay into the stormwater fund. So Carmel does get some benefit there over the modest increase in lot coverage that we're requesting to help mitigate that. And then the alley that Carmel constructed there as kind of a test system is a good example of how, as a community, we use those funds to build new infrastructure. So request one was the lot coverage, and then request two are the window wells as shown here. I'm going to point to the window wells at the bottom of the screen. They're the ones that protrude the furthest, that 46 inches. Kind of a unique design there. It actually takes overall less surface area. It's a pre-molded, looks like stone window well that you can climb out of it easier if you can barely see it in the screen, but it's terrace there. It has steps molded into it, so it takes up less yard space, but to make it legally egress, it protrudes out 46 inches. Those are into the bedrooms of this structure. And on a 50-foot lot in this exact circumstance, this has been built, this is the same concept multiple times throughout downtown Carmel. And then the window well that is on the north side of the structure protrudes out the actual volume of the window well, 36 inches, but because of the 6-inch timber, 42-inch protrusion into the yard, that one is not required to be an egress window well, but to allow natural light down into the living space, getting 3 feet out with the setback in the yard provides more light, natural light to enter that space. I noted that in the department report, they had requested us considering moving window wells to alternate locations like the rear of the home. Not practical with this floor plan. We would have to throw out the floor plan, start over. There's no opportunity to move with the porch slab and garage slab on the rears of the window wells. But that north window well, we would commit to either fencing it or putting a metal grate, some sort of safety feature over it, since it's so close to the property line on that side. And again, we own the adjacent property to the north. We are planning a renovation of a historic home on that property to the north of this. And so we would certainly represent anybody who bought that home in the future that this circumstance exists. With that, I'll pause and turn it back to the staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Joe, are there any letters of remonstrance that were noted
For the record, we received 0 written comments for this petition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Angie, staff report, please.
Sure. Thank you. Planning staff does not have any issues with the lot coverage request to increase to 49%. We do have a slight concern with the window wells again, and that's due to the fact that they're only 1 to 2 feet from the side property lines. So we have a slight concern about possibly trespassing onto adjacent properties. But technically, I guess someone could walk on, that 1 to 2 foot wide gap area if they're trying to, do a weed whack or put mulch down or whatever. So we do recommend positive consideration of both variances with possibly the condition of removing that northern window well, which is not really needed for life safety. For the living room, it's more for letting that natural light in.
Okay. Justin, repeat again. You mentioned that you were amenable to adding either a grade or some type of structure for that window well to the north. Could you just go over that again? And I want to see if that's acceptable to Angie.
Yeah, I think the primary, I could see 2 potential points of view on why that would be helpful or necessary. One is, since we are getting closer to the property line, if there is a safety concern, that having some sort of cover or fencing around it, decorative fencing, certainly protects the adjacent property owner from falling into it. I think that's my bigger concern. Trespassing, could be addressed since there's only, just under 2 feet between the property lines. Somebody could stay on their property, but they have to turn sideways to walk past the window well. But the reality is that's circumstance all throughout the Arts and Design District, that we have narrow property lines, and this window well configuration exists all over the neighborhood. And we hope people are neighborly, but I think we're in a unique situation in this one in that we do control the property to the north, and both buyers of both homes understand the circumstances and will have to agree to that if they want to build here and occupy the homes. So we have some control over, what's represented to buyers on both properties. But again, my bigger concern is life safety and following window well. So being that close to the property line, I would commit to covering it or fencing it rather than removing it. It certainly hurts the property value and the overall usability of that space in the basement by not having some natural light in there.
Well, I don't have a problem really. I see your point, and I see that if it was moved to the back, that the hardship that would present. So my concern, as it sounds like yours is as well, is the safety and welfare of somebody who may not either know it's there or forget it's there, and they may not even be neighbors. They may be people cutting through between the homes or something like that, not seeing it, not knowing it if it's at nighttime, and having an issue. So that's why I say if there's something that you could represent, you could do in order to keep that window well, but do something as far as protecting the safety of individuals.
Mr. Potasnik, that would follow with the same commitment we've made for the previous request for the circumstances on this larger window well to provide some sort of fencing or covering over it.
Okay.
So we will commit to that.
Angie, is that all right with the staff?
Yes, I think that's acceptable. I had a question for Justin. The 2 smaller window wells on the south side, is there a way to also do coverings on those?
Those are more difficult because they're irregular in shape.
Okay.
They don't have a uniform setup, but they're pretty obvious, and they don't sit flush to the ground, sit just above it, so there's a lip there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see where there's a problem with those myself. So, okay. So I'll approve this subject to some type of protection. You work it out with the department and put it on just that one window well to the north.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very good. Thank you
Appreciate your
very
time
much.
tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And also, your the 4%, that's approved as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, looks like we have everyone.
Okay. Very good. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Lakeside Apartments Phase 2 variance. The applicant seeks the following developmental standards variance approval. Docket number PZ 2020-00226V, TAPCO PUD Exhibit F, Part 4, Section E. Public entrances required to be provided on the street side of all residential buildings located within 50 feet of the street right-of-way. Private entrances to units proposed. The site's located at 645 West Carmel Drive, parentheses east of Broadability R&D Building, and it is zoned TAPCO PUD/Planned Unit Development, Ordinance Z 581-13, filed by Jim Schiniver and John Dobashewitz of Nelson and Frankenberger LLC on behalf of J.C. Hart Company, INC. Jim or John, take it
Thank
away.
you, sir. For the record, John Dobashewitz, land use professional with the law firm of Nelson and Frankenberger. If you could advance to the exhibit behind tab 3. Yeah, that's it right there. And I know, Mr. Potasnik, that you have seen this as part of the Plan Commission review of the development plan and ADLS. So I wanted to skip through the site location information. But with me this evening, as you indicated, we represent the petitioner, J.C. Hart, Russ Powell, Randy Sherman. I believe Todd may also be on our call this evening. J.C. Hart's proposing that some of the apartment units include private entrances along the Carmel Drive street frontage as illustrated on the site plan under tab 3. So if Angie, you can identify those. The long narrow band along the south side of the street is the path, and you see the connections that Angie's pointing out to the building locations there on the site plan. In this regard, the building entrance design and positioning was vetted during the DPADLS review process by the Plan Commission in November and then concluded with the committee on December 1st. If you can advance to tab 4, Angie, if you would, please. There you go. There's 3, as this comes up, there are 3 exhibits that are similar to this that we've taken the brochure and identified the location of the different entrances. For some reason, it doesn't look like it's coming up on this, but you can see we circled those in the brochure, and I think perhaps that's not coming up from a technical perspective, but there you go. So Angie Khan is identifying that entrance there. The 2 other buildings have those similar types of entrances on the street side. Right in the middle there on either side, you can see the 2 entry doors. Those are entry doors to individual units. The requested variance is limited scope to this request for rather than having public entrances to all the units in the building to have a limited number of private entrances. Public access to the building as proposed provides access to the parking and discourages vehicle and pedestrian conflicts along Carmel Drive where there's no on-street parking. If you would go to tab 6 and the one image behind tab 6, which is a streetscape. The building design does include four-sided detailing, which enhances the elevations to look more like fronts. The streetscape is shown here, faces Carmel Drive. The resulting plans provide enhancements to the facades, which include creating symmetry, adding entrances, including the wall along Carmel Drive with a large pedestrian gateway to create a look of continuous facade, meeting the intent of the ordinance. With that said, we've worked with staff and worked with them during the development plan and ADLS phase. As I indicated, Plan Commission approved the DP-ADLS, and we're here this evening seeking a variance of limited scope exclusively regarding the positioning of entrances on the buildings as I've described. We would respectfully request approval this evening by the hearing officer of the requested variance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. This is a public meeting, but we're not taking any live testimony. So, Joe, any letters of remonstrance?
For the record, we received 0 written comments for this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Angie, staff report, please.
Sure, thank you. Planning staff is in support of this variance request. And as the petitioner stated, the Plan Commission has approved the overall project, reviewing the architecture, landscaping, parking, all of those things. There is no on-street parking for Carmel Drive. So technically there wouldn't be a need for any residents to be parking there and accessing the those buildings from the street. The petitioner has told us that the each private entrance would be keyed to the individual units, so individual tenants could access those doors if they needed to, but most likely they'll be parking within the parking lot and accessing the building from the interior of the site. So with that, we do recommend positive consideration of this variance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll approve this for you. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be approved. Okay. Thank you very much for your attending.
Thanks for your time this evening.
Thank you. There's no other business to come before the hearing officer. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Now, Joe, do we have to sign out and sign back in?
Yeah, I'll sign into the other invite, which is the full meeting.
Okay. Thanks very much.
All right, we'll see you there.
Okay.